guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back at home doing some home turf stuff, and guess what? I got one bad mamma jamma of an off-roader next to me. This is it. This is the all-new 2023 Toyota Sequoia, and as you can see, this is the bad boy of the bunch. This is a TRD Pro in that solar flare orange color. But before we get into this three-row, full-size, off-road competent SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Toyota, they're going through their lineup one by one, really pinpointing what they're bringing and exactly when they're bringing it. Sequoia, just like its truck version, the Tundra, had gone unchanged for years. Well, all that time going by, Toyota's been doing their homework and trying to bring the best to you. Now, with this being a full-size SUV, you're gonna compare this to a Chevy Tahoe. You're gonna compare it to a GMC Yukon. Obviously, the big boy of Ford, the Ford Expedition. Now, when it comes to this SUV, you can get it many different ways. We brought you the high luxury capstone trim, but when you want that really superior off-road appeal and quality, TRD Pro is the way to go. Now, I want to compare this to one of the competitors. In particular, that would be the Chevrolet Tahoe. Now, when Chevrolet did their redesign, they no longer had Z71 as an option package. They now actually call it a trim, the Tahoe Z71. So let's go ahead, let's dive into this Sequoia, see what it brings at the TRD Pro level, and see is it the better new performance SUV to buy over the Tahoe Z71. Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the color. If you would have told me before I saw this in person that I was gonna bring you an orange SUV, I'd be like, ew. But solar flare fits it to a T. Up front, you're gonna see some familiar style from the Tundra, but the Sequoia has some specific touches. I love the way they do the double stack LED lighting, just like double stuffed Oreo cookies. We got our LED daytime running lamp, and you can see that sequential LED turn signal. We have functionality up top in the corner and massive air curtains in that lower section. And I think this is one of those parts on the front of the Sequoia. A lot of new Tundra owners are like, man, I wish I had this lower bumper on my truck, because it looks really good on the Sequoia. And like I said, you got that functionality. Now, as we come across the midsection, with this being a TRD Pro, you're getting the Heritage grille. What the heck does that mean? No chrome Toyota badge. We have Toyota spelled out in that flat gunmetal gray. Because of the width of the vehicle, we have that auxiliary DOT required lighting, all LED, nicely nestled in the top portion of the grille. If you're doing some off-roading at night and you really need to illuminate what the heck is in front of you, when you put the headlights in high beam mode, you could then turn on this ultra wide LED light bar. This is from the factory. You don't have to go out and buy an auxiliary setup. You can, but I love the way this one just is nestled perfectly within that space. Of course, we're gonna have a forward-facing camera. Would be nice to have a washer on it. And all of this top grille and lower grille is fully functional. Now, the good news is, besides the light bar, you are gonna get LED lighting for your fog lamps, nicely positioned. Of course, we have a lift on the Sequoia over your standard version, and we are sitting on Fox racing suspension. I'm gonna have Steven show that to you in just a few nanoseconds. Now, underneath, you're gonna find, and it's way up in there, all that skid plate protection. So you're gonna get TRD skid plate protection, protect the oil pan, protect the gas tank. This thing is meant to do some serious off-roading. Now, as we rise up, I love the way they did the hood, just like on the Tundra. You got those V indentations. My one zonk that's gonna carry over from the Tundra is that these two black pieces are fake. They're not functional. It would be nice to make these heat extractors rather than just a place for them to put the badge TRD Pro. But they do, from a look standpoint, look killer and make the aggressive front end even stand out more. And if we were comparing this, just the front, to a Chevy Tahoe Z71, I'm digging this one with the extra lighting, especially the fog lamps and the light bar. You're not getting those touches on a Z71 Tahoe. Now, as we come around the bend, we got to swing wide because we have that Camo Tech fender flare. Like the way they did this, just better than flat black. You can see the camo design there. And then working our way down, what do you get? When you go Sequoia, you're getting these 18-inch forged BBS wheels. So instead of some cast aluminum wheel that's right from the factory, these are BBS forged wheels. I love the satin black, the TRD badge, Toyota Racing Development in the center. Even the way they did the calipers up front, it's not just a simple sliding caliper. You have your 4-piston caliper. And then if you're wondering, well, Joe, what is the size of this tire? This is a 33-inch tire, and these are Falken Wild Earth setup tires to get you off the road and get you down that path. It's got the protection in the sidewall, and with these Wild Peak tires being all-terrain, you are going to get a little bit more road noise, but the great news is that you're going to have that off-road capability. 285 on the width and a 55 series sidewall. I'm going to have Steven kind of come in and show the upper control arm. You can see the bright red TRD springs and the Fox shock absorbers, all 4 corners. You even have a beefy, super beefy anti-roll bar up front to help control the side-to-side motion as you're going off-road. Now, just like the Tundra, I love the indentation. I feel like from an aesthetic standpoint, this Sequoia really brings it over the Tahoe. You're gonna get flat black, ginormous mirrors that are power folding, and you get 360-degree cameras, and of course, your LED lighting. I love the way they black out just the A-pillar. Kind of makes the SUV not look so top heavy, because up top, not only do you have your flat black roof rails, we got our crossbars and this platform, this cargo platform. One of those things that's really popular today with SUVs and Jeeps and everything is overlanding. This definitely is set up already from the factory to really get that overlanding done for you. Down below, you're gonna get the TRD specific running boards. They are fixed, but the good news is you can take them off if you need to push the limit of your off-roading. A little bit of gloss black on the door handle, but then you have mostly the solar flare. Same thing as we work towards our rear. I love seeing that platform up there. Obviously, you could put just about anything. And then another area where Steven's gonna zoom on in is to show you that shock absorber at the rear. Of course, you got a fully steel box frame with that lift, and then coming around the back, looking good. You got that nice roof spoiler. The one thing I would like to see disappear is this wiper. It would be nice to tuck that in, so we are gonna zonk that, but you can lift the rear glass, and we got that LED lighting. All fully done on this particular Sequoia. Now, you do have a chrome badge on the back. I wish that they would have blacked this out, and you could even put the blue in. Obviously, the blue means that, just like other Sequoias, this is a hybrid version, and we'll talk more about that. But I like the way they did the Sequoia badge across the back. You don't have a massive bumper sticking out, which is nice. This comes off so you could do your towing, and I love the TRD cat back exhaust. They're staggered, black tips, nice round opening. But while we go ahead, let's pop the hood and let's talk power, especially compared to the Tahoe. Hey guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Now, obviously, a lot of people, they're still upset that they took away the V8, especially it was such a tried and true V8. People getting more than 1 million miles on it. What do we have now? Welcome to the future. That is a iForce Max setup that is standard across all the trims on the Sequoia. So what are we looking at underneath that plastic cover? You're looking at a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 paired with the electric motor to produce 437 horsepower, 585 pound-feet of torque. Now, get some tissues, dry your eyes, because that's more horsepower and more torque than the V8 powered Sequoia. And you should really put a big smile on your face, because that's more horsepower and torque than a Chevy Tahoe Z71 with the 6.2 liter V8. It is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds. It does weigh 6,150 pounds. I think the one thing where a lot of people are upset is that the MPGs. And I could understand, and I could zonk that for you. 19 in the city, 21 the highway. I think people were expecting more out of the iForce Max setup. And you can tow 9,020 pounds. You do have a locking rear diff. And what's great is, if you're wondering about ground clearance with that lift, you got over 9 inches of ground clearance, which is amazing. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this up and see the Sequoia go. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro. I know what you're saying. I know it. I could feel it. You're saying, Joe, this thing is one bad mamma jamma, just like you said at the start of the video. My big question is, does it have a ginormous price to go with it? And that's a very good question. Obviously, this goes up against the Chevrolet Tahoe Z71. We've talked about those. Those usually retail for about high 60s, early 70s, say around 72,000. This particular one, this Sequoia TRD Pro has an MSRP, I hope you're sitting down, $80,000. But let's see what you get for the money and how it stacks up to the mighty Tahoe, to the door panels. All new materials. I love on the TRD Pro, you got the soft touch up top, in the center, on the armrest, with the red stitching. Of course, Toyota knows you eat Twinkies. They got a double stacker there. You could put 2 Twinkies in that little nook. No gloss black, and then a door pocket that's a pretty good size. I would say you could get one of those McDonald's quad burgers, 4 patties, 2 bottles of Surge, and a box of Milk Duds to have like as dessert. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, we got the multi-speaker JBL premium sound system. I love the way they do the heritage badge for the passenger, and even this aluminum style finish that's on the doors, it's also here in front of the passenger. Soft material, and then check that out. Your friend with his Tahoe has 10 inches. Guess what? You got 14 inches, so you're bigger. Bigger means better, right? But anyways, 14-inch infotainment, all new Toyota multimedia system. We have shown you this on every single other Toyota that has the new multimedia system. Great system, easy to use, backup camera, 360. The resolution could be a little bit better. This is another area where the Tahoe just kicks the butt of the Sequoia. Just a little grainy, but I do like all the trajectory. And another thing I like is how easy it is to go to every different angle, front, back, the whole 9 yards. You even got your off-roading. Look at this, where when you're on that trail, you can actually see the pitch, the roll, the whole 9 yards. Very easy to do, very simple to work through. And then we're right back where we started. Working your way down, you do have your dual climate. I like the way you got physical switches and knobs. We got, for the first time ever, ventilated seats and heated seats on a Sequoia TRD Pro. You got a USB-A. We got an actual volume knob, which is nice. More toggle switches. You can lock that rear diff, wireless charging, and a place where you could stack up 2 Snickers. This guy right here with the TRD on the shifter and the leather is gonna control that 10-speed automatic. More of that aluminum style finish. Open this door, 2 standard size cup holders. Another Sequoia first. You actually have a mode selector knob. I'll show you more of that on the business side. You got your downhill descent control, the crawl system, tow haul, and you could easily go from 2 high to 4 high to 4 low with your 4-wheel drive system. Key fob, it's a little boring, so I am gonna have to zonk that. I wish it said like TRD Pro or something on it. You got a nice little tray here for some Skittles. Open this up. This is where you're gonna be able to keep maybe a picture of your loved one. You know, there was once upon a time where we used to have actual pictures in our wallets and our purses. No longer do we have that, but you could keep that in there, and then you could like look at it and fall in love every single time. Open this up, I fall in love because there's tons of room. USB-A, USB-C, you got a little coin holder so you don't have to carry your coin purse anymore. And then you got lots of little storage compartments. I would say you could easily put 12 tacos and 2 chalupas and a couple of those cinnamon twist dessert treats from Taco Bell in there. One other thing I want to show you, when you're done eating your Skittles, you actually could do this. Boop, boop. It's got a sliding tray so you could get to those cinnamon twists. I remember when I was a kid, that was the thing, like who could eat them all before we get home? And then my mom would freak out that we ate the cinnamon twists and not the tacos. Such is life. The seats, the leather, the TRD Pro with the embroidery, the stitching, full ventilated, heated, electric assist, of course, for the passenger, electric assist for the driver. One zonk, actually, we're gonna do a double zonk. I'm not digging the lighter headliner. I wish it just had a black headliner in here, and then you just have a standard size sunroof. And I know some of you are gonna say, well, Joe, who cares if it has a panoramic sunroof with that cargo platform? I'm sure your rear seat passengers care. That's who cares. But the nice thing is we get to end on a high note. Just like the Tahoe, you do have a digital rear view mirror. That has super clear resolution. But why don't you get your butt over here to the steering wheel side, the business side. I want to show you this beautiful digital dash in the Sequoia TRD Pro. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do get 2 memory seat settings. I love the pedal box. Nice large aluminum brake pedal, throttle, super large dead pedal, and you have the Sequoia TRD Pro all-weather floor mats. That's worth an additional 5 horsepower. Seat controls, easy to get to. I love the new shape of the seat. They really did their homework to make sure that you're comfortable no matter how big you are. And if you're wondering, well, how big am I? 6 feet tall, weighing in around 198 pounds, if you're wondering. Steering wheel, leather all the way around. I love the perforated design, the red stripe at the top, so that when you're off-roading, you know where top dead center is. TRD, Toyota Racing Development, they even did the stitching. The one thing I would like to get like a screwdriver and just pluck that off is this chrome badge. Would be nice to have the Toyota Heritage badge. Flat black on the buttons, manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, and then you got that large, easy to read dash display. And watch this, like I said, that digital dash, you got your different modes, first time ever, and it's real simple. Sport, normal, and eco. We're gonna leave it in sport mode, and I do like the way it's got everything easily identifiable, including your boost gauge and your max gauge. That's for your battery in the hybrid system. The one thing that's missing here, I'm actually shocked, I had to do a double look, no head-up display. And unlike the 4Runner, no red seat belts. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in that mid-row and see how this stacks up against the Tahoe Z71. All right, guys, mid-row time. And this is another area, like I said, you're gonna have a lot of room, just not as much room as your buddy with his Tahoe Z71. Now, the good news is that you got these very comfortable seats. The one zonk I'm gonna have to give it are these sad captain's chair armrests. They're too thin for an adult human's arm. Make them just a little bit wider, but I love the way they do the camo tech design, lurking behind the perforated leather, just like up front. You have ginormous freaking pockets back here, and you could get 2 large Florida-style pizzas. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the difference between a Florida pizza and, like, say, a New York pizza? Instead of pepperoni, we put orange slices on ours. Rear console area, you got your 2 cup holders, large enough for not a super big gulp, but a big gulp. I don't like where they put the AC vents because they just blow on your shin. So I am gonna zonk that, but you do have all the great controls to adjust, and they got you covered connectivity-wise. USB-A, USB-C, and a home power source. Close it up, weather, floor mats all over the place. You got your AC vents, which is nice up here because I'm telling you right now, my knee is nice and cool. It's nice to have a little bit of extra AC air. And then on top of that, if you like to do your off-roading in privacy, you could actually protect the identity of all your passengers by having these manual security shades up. And it keeps the sun out too. So if you're ever on Unsolved Mysteries or anything like that, America's Most Wanted, you could do that. Seats, they don't slide, but They do recline, but it's that time. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Let's see if I could squeeze back into the third row and how it stacks up to the Chevy. Right, guys, third row time, and I'm telling you what's nice is that when you put the seat forward, it really frees up a lot of room to get in and out. And Steven could show you the nice landing area for your feet so that you're not ripping up the carpet and you have a nice wide area to get into the back. All weather rug protection all the way to the third row. It's interesting because even though the mid row doesn't slide back, I have a pretty good amount of space. Let me just show you. I could adjust this. So this is full recline. And if I had somebody sitting here, I'd probably punch him in the back of the head and move the seat forward to really put it realistically in a comfortable spot for the mid row. Plenty of knee room. The problem is, compared to the Tahoe, my knees are in my mouth. And if I'm already eating my Florida pizza with all the orange toppings, I'm not gonna wanna eat my knees as well. So I wish my knees were a little bit lower. Head's a little close to the headliner. I know they call it a headliner, but I don't wanna connect my head to the headliner. The nice thing is, just like the mid row, if you are on America's Most Wanted, you could put up that security shade to protect your identity. We do have rear AC vents. You do get 2 cup holders, and you do have the ability to tilt the seat back a little bit. So I would have to be like this, but the challenge is if you have any big bulky items in the back, you're not gonna be able to move the seat. And you do have USB-Cs back here, which is nice. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the cargo area and see how this stacks up to the Tahoe. Right, guys, this Sequoia has a couple tricks up its sleeve to compete against the Tahoe. Let me show you one of those things. You're gonna hit this little rectangle button here, easily lift the rear glass. And what's great about this is, like, let's say your kids are in their big championship game, and of course, they never listen to you and they forgot the shin guards in your Sequoia TRD Pro. You don't have to open up the rear lift gate. You could just reach in, grab it, close it, and then save them from being kicked out of the game. Nice to have that. You go ahead and hit the button right underneath the Toyota badge, and what is that gonna do? It's gonna give you a little chime, nice electric assist, rises up. What you're gonna be greeted to is 22 cubic feet of space. Now the bad news is, this is where the Toyota Sequoia gets its butt whooped against the Tahoe. The Tahoe, hands down, has more room behind the third seat. Put down the third seat, you got more room. Put down all the seats, you still got more room in the Tahoe. But like I said, let me show you some versatility tricks that this Sequoia does. So you have your little cargo area back here. If you don't want carpet because you got some like dirty sandals, maybe flip-flops, whatever, you're at the beach, now you could just put those back there and not have the sand get on the carpet. Or you could turn this into a nifty little shelf system. Right there, 1, 2, 3, you got 2 different levels. You could go up even higher. You lock it in. I like the way it's very easy to use, or you just bring it right back down. Another little fun little trick that they do is with the third row up, you could actually slide. So this is something not only for the passenger to be able to experience, but if you need a little bit extra room, you could actually just do that, and that freed up your room to give you the full 22 cubic feet of space. I'm gonna move them back just to show you a couple more things. We do, of course, have our first aid kit. Last time Steven cut his hand open, we had a Toyota vehicle and we were able to save his hand. He was gonna have it amputated, but we were able to save it with the first aid kit. Now on the back, you do have your buttons to fold down, power folding third row. You also, what's nice is get that 120 volt. So when you're at the beach or the campground, you're gonna be good to go. We got LED lighting, and now it's just one press. All you're gonna do is press that bottom portion, and that's gonna fold down the seats, the headrest flop down for you. And what's happening is you're maximizing your space. Now, if you fold down the mid row, that's gonna give you 86.9 cubic feet of space. That falls up way short on a Tahoe. Tahoe easily gets you 100 cubic feet of space. Another area where there's a zonk, as you can see, you're losing. You can't get that flat space. For you to get flat, you're gonna have to do this. And this is why Toyota has that shelf. Now, you could get flat, but obviously, you're only gonna be able to put so much weight on that. If I was to sit on that, I'd fold it right in half like a ham sandwich. So we'll keep it down, but you know what? Button, where's a button? There it is. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and go on throttle and see how this Sequoia TRD Pro drives. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and do a little sand driving here in Florida, I went ahead and put it into 4 high. Real simple, just taking the selector switch and putting it into 4 high right behind the shifter, and here we go. Nice to have that skid plate protection, and just really allows you to feel confident when you are going off-road. Very controllable, very predictable. I do still have it in sport mode, and that's going to just quicken up the steering, throttle sensitivity, the whole shabam. But the suspension, as you can see, does a really great job of dampening everything out. I love this stuff, I tell you. It's a blast to be able to just have a little bit of fun in the sand here in Florida. There we go. But really does a great job, the 4x4 system. And then you could jump this thing. You got that great ground clearance. Really allows you to take advantage of everything that this TRD Off-Road Pro has. Here we go. Absolutely loving it. Look at this. Really working it on throttle. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Just crazy how this is a full freaking size SUV and just so playable, so controllable, very light on the steering. I mean, look at this. Through the deep sand, the ruts, and everything else, nice and easy to just navigate with this thing. And like I said, for being a larger SUV, you have that flexibility, and that's what it's all about. But you could do a little desert running. Not like we're in the desert, but you have that capability. Very easy to position this thing wherever you want. But definitely shows what the TRD Pro is all about when you go with the Sequoia over a Tahoe Z71. And then what's great is you come out of your little trail area, you put it back into 2 high, and then we're good to go. That's what's wonderful about this vehicle, is that you could drive it every single day, pick the kids up from school, do it, whatever it is you need to do, and then you could go have some off-roading fun, whether you're in a rocky situation, sand like you saw, deep ruts. This thing really does the business because of all of those amazing parts that we have, from the springs, the shocks, the wheels, the skid plates, the anti-roll bar, the whole 9 yards. Plus you got crawl control, hill descent control, everything set up. And then here we are back driving on the road. So it really is that do everything, full size SUV. And as you can see, even though we do have a smaller engine than the Tahoe Z71, plenty of power, plenty of torque. But hopefully this has been a good overall review on-road and off-road with this vehicle. I do have to do one more on throttle. That's something that I think that we need, is on asphalt, on throttle action. Nobody's behind us. I'm gonna get on the brakes here real quick. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Nice smooth shifts from the 10-speed. And that's another thing. When we were playing around the sandbox there, the 10-speed wasn't bouncing all over the place through the gears, which was great. And the torque vectoring and everything was working very smoothly. So nice to see that setup. But like I was saying just a second ago, hopefully this has been a good overall review of this 2023 Sequoia TRD Pro. We're gonna get back to where it all began and wrap this one up. I'll see you in a split second. Guys, it's been a sun-kissed kind of day out here with this solar flare orange Sequoia TRD Pro. We got to thank everybody at Toyota USA for getting us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Are you ready to hang up your V8 powered t-shirt and put on an iForce Max t-shirt with this Sequoia, or are you gonna hold on to your muscle and go with that Tahoe Z71? Let me know how you would spend your money in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rides family. Got to give it up to Stephen Flood, Stephen Flood Photography. Here's a fun fact about Stephen. He eats 12 oranges per day to maximize his vitamin C intake. Show him some love down in that comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.